The 2020 Post-O'Brien Award videos are brought to you by Horse Racing Alberta. Hey everyone, Rachel and Nima here with Standardbred Canada for some Post-O'Brien Award interviews. Joining me today is Bob McClure, 2020 Driver of the Year. Bob, congratulations. I'm sure that only you can truly describe how it feels. So how does it feel to finally get this one in the hardware case?
I think relieved because, after having three go the wrong way, it was nice to finally have one go the right way.
For sure. So, walk us through some of the biggest highs throughout 2020 for you. Obviously, you may have thought 2019 was a hard year to top with a win in the Hambletonian, but, what were some of the biggest highs of 2020?
Well, the Breeders' Crown was obviously big, getting my first Breeders' Crown. The Peaceful Way Stakes was a real thrill, just because of such a special filly that won it and the way she won it. And then obviously the driving tattoo artist in North American Cup and finishing a close second, that was a pretty great thrill too.
For sure. Were there any goals that you had set for 2020 that you happened to meet?
No, because it was kind of hard to set goals. I've never been much of a goal setter anyway, because mostly because I'm not in control of my own fate. If you either get listed on the good horses or you don't. So
For sure.
it's kind of hard to set goals as a driver, I find. But I at the same time, I didn't think with the 2 months off that I could, duplicate 2019. 2019 was a terrific year too. So, I mean, I'd say I definitely, it was well beyond what I was expecting.
For sure. So with that being said, do you have any goals at all for 2021?
No, if I could even come close to the year I had this past year, then I'd be perfectly fine with that.
For sure. So you were associated with 4 O'Brien champions last year. So let's start with 2-year-old Trotters, Donna Soprano and Honest Streak. Just kind of walk us through some of the highs that these two incredible 2-year-olds took you on.
Donna Soprano and Honest Streak, they were nice. Donna's just different though. Donna's a different caliber than the other 2-year-old Trotters we had, and they were standouts. Honest Streak, I think towards the end, he showed he was that at least in the top 5 for the best colts in North America. And Donna Soprano still, they went up against each other in the million. She beat him by 5 lengths with a tough trip. So I mean, she was just she'll stick in my mind forever, even if something happens that she doesn't come back as good at 3. She was just an absolute blast to drive this year.
Would you say she's definitely your favorite of the 2?
Yeah, she's my favorite of the 3. You have Macho Martini, Honest Streak, and her. I'd take her every time.
So now for 3-year-old pacers, Laura's Love, 3-year-old pacing filly of the year. You started from her, aside from one start, you were with her all the way, from her first start to her last start as a 3-year-old. So kind of, walk us through some of the changes that you may have saw in her as the season progressed.
Well, she was very, very, she was never, ever smooth gated, ever. Her whole career. John's done an absolutely amazing job keeping her sound and keeping her, setting her up to be as fast as she is. And, we're very early on, I wasn't sure she'd ever break a maiden because, you're holding her together the whole way. And then she won a maiden just so easily. This her second lifetime start. And just progressively got better and better and better. And it was right around the time, right before the shutdown, I think, I kind of said to John, I said, I think you got more than just a grassrooter here. I think you got a legit gold filly. And he said, I do too. He says, I'm going to shut her down right now and get ready for the season. So she just progressed in January and February. And there aren't a lot of horses that can do that either. I find that, that start in the winter, carry it all the way through. And she went right through to the fall.
Yeah. So how are you hoping that she takes that kind of grittiness in the, it's a tough transition from 3 to 4. So how are you hoping that she does handle the transition?
Well, I think she'll handle it fine. She might not be a full throttle open mare right off the hop going 3 to 4. I think it's another thing that kind of hindered her. She never raced it too, so she hasn't got that many deep starts, or maybe that'll help her. She never had that 2-year-old season that kind of wore her down. She might come out, with the improvement that you'd see from a 2 coming 3, and with the high speed she's shown she can go quarters in 25 seconds. She's tough. She's only getting better gated. I think it wouldn't surprise me if she becomes an open mare.
So 3-year-old Colt Pacer, tattoo artist, he was so dominant in the OSS program this past year. And like you said, a second in the North American Cup. Where does he rank throughout the success of your year in 2020?
Oh, he was right up there at the top. I got really lucky too, because there was another colt that came along, Indictable Hanover, and I was driving him. And it came to the point I had to pick between the two, and I picked the wrong one, and I got beat up by Tattoo Artist that night, and I just got really lucky that I won with Lawless Shadow, I think, who another Brian Award for you more, about 2-3 days later, and he kind of said to me, he says, "You're not the wrong colt," I said, "I know." He said, "Well, do you want the other one back?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, I do." And I got really lucky because I made a lot of money and had a lot of thrills with him.
For sure. So kind of going off topic of horse racing, we have a little game of rapid fire with Bob McClure to play. So are you ready?
Ready as I'm going to get.
Okay. Your most used emoji?
The laughing, crying laughing.
Okay. What would you win an Olympic gold medal for?
I would say cooking.
A show on Netflix you embarrassingly binge watched too fast?
Tiger King.
Who is your celebrity crush?
Mila Kunis.
What's the craziest thing on your bucket list?
Skydiving.
If a movie was made about Bob McClure, who would play Bob McClure?
Who's the most sarcastic actor you can think of? Either Rob Downey Jr. or Vince Vaughn, because the sarcasm.
If you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be?
Read minds.
Do you have any superstitions?
Yeah, if I going through a bad luck phase, I'll ditch the gloves, ditch the glasses, dip the whip, all in one shot, and then start fresh.
What is something you wish you were really, really good at?
Oh, golf.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much, Bob, for hanging out with me for a little bit, and congratulations again, and best of luck in 2021.
Thank you.